Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Mix Live. My name is Mike Lankford, engineer, producer, and mixer based in Toronto, Canada. And here on Let's Mix Live, I live stream some mix sessions in Pro Tools start to finish, showing you some production techniques to hopefully help you make your music sound better. Again, there's lots of different ways to make our music sound great. I'm here not to show you what you should do, but what you could do. So let's get back at it. We are part 4, the group, duo, called Georgia Wonder. The song is called Siren. It's kind of a disco pop tune. I love it. I think it's been a lot of fun working on. Where do I get these songs from? Where do I get these multi-tracks from? There's this website called Cambridge Music Technology. Link is down below, or details down below if you're watching on YouTube. They have tons of multi-track recordings from folk all the way up to metal, lots of different genres on there for educational and I guess entertainment purposes. So please look into that, especially if you're a new mixer. Tons of content to work with. Also, if you're an experienced mixer and you're looking to branch out into other genres, because sometimes we get pigeonholed into genres, that can be an excellent resource as well. Again, it's Cambridge Music Technology. Details are below if you're watching on YouTube. Let's hop over into Pro Tools here. Oh, the intro music's almost. Oh, there's one more thing I wanted to mention. So don't forget, I've been streaming like 2, 3, 4 nights a week the last few months. I'm taking a couple weeks off. So if you don't see anything next week or the week after, don't freak out. I am coming back. I'm just taking a couple weeks off. So I thought I'd mention that now. I'll mention it again at the end. Hopefully I'm reminded. I'll remind myself to mention it again later. But yeah, I'm going to take a couple weeks off to free up some evenings. Weather's getting nicer here, although not today. It's a little bit gray here in Toronto, but weather's getting nicer. Need to free up some evenings. Yeah, no, it's going to be good. So, all right, hopping into Pro Tools here. I felt pretty good where we left off last time. So, I'm thinking today's probably going to be more making some of the edits. There's still some vocal throws I talked about last time that I didn't get to. But overall, I thought it was sounding pretty good. Came together really quick for how many tracks there were. It was like 50 some odd tracks to work with. Excuse me, it came together pretty quick last time. So there's some arrangement things I kind of wanted to kind of mess around with a little bit. And I do highly recommend if you are going to do things like this, get the mix where you're feeling good about it and then make a save and then start making your edits so that if the band or artist, if they hear it, just kind of toss that, artistic, emotional grenade into the center and go, hey, what do you think of this? And they might like it or they might shoot it down. But also be mindful of stepping on toes, especially if they're very attached to their arrangement. You can always undo it. All of this stuff is non-destructive. So don't feel like it's a big deal to make some of these changes. Because I added some other samples in. I added some percussion in last time too to help kind of raise the energy in the chorus sections and like all those things. You might see it as overstepping, but I think the bigger risk, bigger reward on that. And one of the things too about producers and mixers, their job at the end of the day is to not stroke the artist or band's ego. Their job at the end of the day is to sell the song. It's all it gets down to. If you're putting your house, and probably a really bad analogy, but if you're putting your house in the market, you're going to stage the house for the buyers. You're not going to stage the house for the people that currently own it. And you can only imagine there might be a conflict of interest in there. You're like, let's just paint all the rooms white, take all the furniture out, and like make it look really simple so that the house looks really big. That might not be a big fan of the homeowner, but when it gets down to it, the home buyer wants to be able to imagine what's going on there. So their job is to always sell what the product actually is. So producers and mixers, if you're watching and you're new, I would say, even from experience, because I've had a couple times where I butted heads with a couple bands I've worked with, but I'm not butting heads with them. I'm butting heads on their idea of what's going to sell the song. And there's been times too, I'll go into this. There's been times too where I've realized the band's making music for themselves. And once I understand that, then we can move forward. If they're not trying to make commercially viable music for their fans, and they can always argue like, oh, our fans like it. Our fans like the music. Yeah, all 6 of them think it's great, and then the 5 family members think it's fantastic. But if you're trying to, 10 times or 20 times or 100 times, knowing what's going to sell the song, and maybe the 8-minute song's not going to do it, or maybe the song that cleverly has no chorus, maybe that's not going to do it. So when you are bringing people or you're bringing people into those roles, or you are a producer or mixer, always be thinking, I'm trying to sell this song. What are we trying to aim at? What's the bullseye we're at? And one of the things too I picked up and has been said several different ways from several other different producers and mixers I've had the pleasure of working with. If you aim for if you aim for two targets, you end up missing both. I think the more older school way of saying it is you chase two rabbits, you end up losing both of them. Anyways, end rant on that. Gemma's here. How's it going, Gemma? All right, so where did we leave off last time? Mix was sounding pretty good. I finally got to my reference naming convention here. We brought our test tones back in, so we can just make sure our rigs sound okay. Disclaimer, I am EQing. I am sweeping around frequencies. Be very mindful and conservative of your levels. You're listening on your headphones, your speakers, or your line array PA system in your basement. You know who you are. So I just have my 1 kilohertz test tone here just to make sure everything's coming up properly. So without further ado, 3, 2, 1. Oh, it sounds good. So that's working. We can highlight these and we can make those inactive. I just remembered to check one more thing before we get going here. I'm just going to turn off my screen for a second. It's funny. I was so ready to go. I was so ready to go this morning. I put the post up and got things prepped yesterday before heading to bed. And I was like, I'm going to be on this today. It's going to be awesome. And then I just started working this morning, and then I got rocked with emails. And then I'm like, I really need to get myself presentable for the camera. Because it might not understand. I don't just naturally wake up like this. Like pretty close because, guy. But, still have to shave. Still have to shave and get myself all freshened up. Gemma says, stopping by. Have a nice day. Have a nice day, Gemma. Thanks for stopping by. All right, so we have our mix back up here. I have my notes from last time. Add the Lindrum samples. Before I forget, the Lindrum samples. So that is, let's see if we can, unfortunately, get a recreate of what's going on here. So Lindrum samples, it's a drum machine. And when I heard this song, I was like, the kick and snare is probably going to be pretty good. So this is the Lindrum snare sample. Oh, sorry. It didn't go from where I thought it was supposed to go from first verse. So that's our Lindrum snare sample. With a boatload, a healthy serving. The cream cheese on the Tim Hortons bagel amount of reverb on there. So I don't know if you probably didn't see, but after last stream, I went to check in the morning just to finish up a couple of the details on the description and stuff. And it had been blocked. The song had been blocked. All of these songs, again, music gets blocked on YouTube often, gets demonetized often. Again, we're here for entertainment and educational purposes. It got blocked. And I checked who blocked it. It said SME, which is Sony Music Entertainment. So I checked that, or I'm pretty sure, 99% sure that's what it is. So I Googled it just to double check, and that's what it came out. So they blocked the video because of copyright infringement. So I checked into it more, and the segment that they had claimed for copyright infringement was basically this. So I thought that was pretty funny, that they could claim copyright infringement on a snare sample while I was EQing it. That's all I was doing. I was EQing the reverb on a snare sample for 30 seconds. So maybe it's the algorithm picking something up. I don't know. Maybe it's a commentary on the state of popular music where that's a song. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. But I thought it was funny. So if you're watching part 3 of this, there's a muted 30-second section on there, and that's what that's all about. I'll put that in the details there as well. But that just reminded me of it. I thought it was kind of funny. Again, this is for educational entertainment purposes, not monetizing this whatsoever. Anyways, moving on. Just gonna have a listen here. From the top. So I did have my notes here. So Lindrum samples, I did add those kicks and snares. Percussion, so I added our this stuff down here. Well, that sounds good. We added this in. So this is using Shimmer Shake Strike. It's a contact plugin, or I don't really know what they're called. but we got some banana and shakers in there. Don was asking about fruit. Which fruit sounds the best? Lemon sounds the best. If you know what's up, you know what's up. So did that add throws, didn't get there yet, and then mix bus stuff. I did do some mix bus stuff and came together pretty good. Yeah, I'm gonna have a listen through. I'll listen through until we get to the first fade out. We faded back in for fun. It's about 6 minutes long, but we'll have a listen through. I'm gonna make some notes about the arrangement, and then I think that's the plan today, is to start chopping this up. And if this is a real gig, we're doing one of those things where it's like either they're always gonna come back or we're gonna get fired. But you know what? Big risk, big reward. And again, sell the song. That's your job. And if someone doesn't want to sell their song, either make peace with that and stroke that ego, or get paid. One of those two phrases is going to be in brackets. But either sell the song or support the artist, I guess emotionally and artistically. All right, so this is Siren. This is the song Siren by, this isn't in order. There we go. Song Siren by the duo Georgia Wonder. I have my percussion soloed. I thought that was so happening. All right, so that's the bulk of the song. I have not really listened to this section much, though. There's a bunch of stuff that's down over here. There's a build over here. Don says, sorry your team lost. It's all good. I'm going for Oilers now. It's a great game last night, though. I like high-scoring games. I feel bad for goalies, but... Daniel said, I asked him about the Megadeth concert. He said, show was great altogether. It's just that Mustaine has zero voice left. It's a lot of years. Don says, it should be a great show. Mon Wheels won in June. Oh, did they win Breakthrough? So proud of them. Oh, good for them. Then we had our fade out. Just showing some basic automation there. Now, Junos are fun. Junos are fun. It's funny, because I remember, not to go way back, but when they were called Ginger Ale and the Mono Whales. And just seeing how that group's evolved over time. And I could probably go into a bit of a rant about what the Canadian music industry does to some groups and how they all kind of assimilate into the channel. But no, it's still good to see bands and artists, see them pivoting and kind of finding their way, because there is a fine line between being able to be successful and being able to just perform in Canada, because Canada is really tough to it's a really tough market for a lot of bands. I've done some rants about it before, but it's really hard to get things going in Canada. Just because the market's not here. You have Toronto and Montreal, and I know there's a lot of other cities that are around in Ontario and Quebec, but it's just that the geography of this country is unforgiving for bands. Meanwhile, in the States, you drive 3 hours and you're playing somewhere else to another major market. All right, so that's basically the song here. There's still some throws I wanted to do. I'm going to listen to the first verse again. I wouldn't put it on the first one because we're still establishing the melody. I kind of want to put on that "Say to Me" line, but still I want to establish the melody for it. Let's listen to the second one here. That's one of my things I try to, not say things they try to do, but some bands, they get it and some don't get it. But there we go. It's freaking me out. Your first verse, your melody should be establishing your first verse vocal should be establishing your vocal melody. Your second one, that's where you can add a variation or something, maybe on the second phrase or third phrase. So maybe on the third phrase we can add something. Or I guess over here, sorry. So let's do that. We could do an automated throw, but let's do it the energy efficient way. Let's duplicate here. We're just going to do what's on there. So we're not going to bring any of the playlist over. That says, I didn't know them, but they were one of the first bands started following, supporting a few years back. They really worked their butts off. Even after, even all through the pandemic, they had major help from factors. Oh no, absolutely, and that's the thing. Like I give tons of props to. 1 second. Tons of props to bands and artists that got through the pandemic and kept working, found a way to work. Because I'm a firm believer, if you can, make hay when things are not good, it's going to make you stronger as a business. Because I told so many bands too, I'm just like, everyone's streaming right now, they're all going to quit in 3 months. So like, if you're going to do it, like just get past that. Never let up. No, exactly. And it's hard. Like the older you get too. And real talk too, like the older you get, and women in the industry, it's like they have to start making some choices about things, especially in their late 20s, about music. Because like touring is brutal on the body. Touring also is brutal on the finances. Touring is brutal on your personal relationships and stuff like that. So, just seeing how that band has kind of figured itself out, especially over the last 3 or 4 years, and how they've kind of positioned themselves. Like, no, absolutely. Breakthrough is good. Oh, I love it when it works first try. I'm here pretending I know what I'm doing, and it's just like, that worked pretty good. I'm going to take the flanger, and I'm going to jam that on it. So we're making this the throw. So instead of automating that to like a delay and all that stuff, all we did was just duplicate the track, copy this down, move it to where we wanted it, so the delay is happening on actual track. I want to filter that even more. Pro Tools. Let's put some cheese on it. Now it's one of those things where I need to the suspense. Don says, unfortunately, the band they're touring with lost out to Arkells. Oh, Mother? Were they for Group of the Year? Okay, these throws and stuff too, I'd always recommend the next day. That's when you judge the level of it. It was Kanye? They lost to Kanye? I was joking. Arkells are going to win. They're going to win Group of the Year 9 times out of 10. I'm not a betting person, but that'd be a safer bet. Because Arkells always has a boatload of things going on, it seems, every year. And then like higher profile stuff. Don says, no, they were nominated for something. I didn't check. I didn't check too much. I found out Buddy Hill was nominated, first woman ever, for engineer. Ended up winning that one. I saw that, but that's kind of all I saw from the nominations. I'll admit, I didn't look through too much this year. The other thing about setting up your throws this way, it's probably Group of the Year. Talking about Junos. Setting up your throws this way, when you just use the actual audio, it's a lot easier to finesse it, because sometimes the delivery of a vocal doesn't line up very well when you just take it as a note duration, as an eighth note, quarter note, or dotted eighth, or dotted quarter, whatever it is, half note, whole note. So when you're able to take the waveform, copy it, put it on a new track, and move that around, you can change the timing of it. If you want it to sit perfectly in time, you can change the length of it. You can make a little bit more detailed finesse and movements to it. So that's kind of my go-to. And also, when you have your kind of delay throw sound on it, it's easier to grab other pieces and just jam that on there. So hopefully that makes sense. Let's listen to the second verse again. Maybe we just have one throw. I don't know. Oh, Beaches won. Oh, did they win Group of the Year? That wouldn't surprise me either. Turn it up just a smidge. You can get a little bit more juice out of that. Daniel say, sorry, one. Beaches won Juno and they'll be touring with Avril in the fall. Oh, that's good. No, Beaches are good. They put the work in too. I can't remember the name of the song. That I Want What You Got song. First time I heard that, so many people were crapping on it. I'm like, no, it's great. There's so much awesome stuff about that one. And then, yeah, it was a good song. Daniel's saying a tech death band really like Arcspire was having a legit Juno losing party and they ended up winning the thing. Well, that's what you do. If you come in with a little bit of modesty with a Juno losing party, if you win, rad. If you don't, everything's still rad. There's some clicks on those vocals there. I don't know what's from. We could try it the quick and easy way here. So we can just take the... I don't have a de-esser on the vocal either. The vocal is really well done. What we can do is just go to noise reduction and declick. And sometimes we can grab some of those clicks there. Be mindful if you are using effects like this, because sometimes it's not showing me. Throwing a huge amount of delay on it. There it is. Yeah, 29,000 samples on there. So not ideal to have that amount. Delay compensation is not even doing anything on that. So we'll take that off. If you will hold command and click this button over here just underneath the fader, you can scroll through your peak, your peak and how many samples of delay that are there. Juno losing party is good. It's still good because there's like technically and statistically there'd be way more people that would attend that one than the winner's party. You think about it. So, but then it's kind of awkward if like the losers show up to the loser party and it's hosted by one of the winners. Then it totally flips from being a modest party, just kind of enjoying the evening, to like, well, you know, the VIP area was kind of open to everybody, and now it's not. We had to make a decision here. So. Omega Mighty. That's a good name, too. Okay, one of the things we can do here, I'm going to take these two tracks, holding Shift and Option, duplicate those. So again, my naming conventions, .c is our comp. If I add Z, means there's some technical corrections going on there. There's something clicking and popping on the vocals. It's listening soloed. Just give in. There's no getting away from me. Just give. One of the things we can do here sometimes, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, like everything in life. That's basically life in general. It's using Isotope RX. I don't know what number they're on right now, but sometimes there's little clicks and pops and stuff that are there. So by duplicating this, we still have the original underneath if anything happens, but we can just highlight them and just to render them. And sometimes we can get rid of a few clicks and pops. Yep, sounding better to me. I know it's very, very subtle, but you can see down here how many clicks it's grabbing. You can be super aggressive with this too. But it's just doing the math anytime it thinks there's a click. So those ones, and then like the come to me parts down here too. There was some.
Come to me.
That one sounded better.
Come to me.
Oh, they might be up here. Yeah, there was some stuff going up there. So it's going to highlight all those, and we'll do the same thing. Let's duplicate that playlist. .cz. And then I could go through and do these individually, but I'll just render those all as a whole. Got 61.
Come to me.
So we got rid of that click off the top of that one too. Like you can actually see it get chopped off there. So Pro Tools. So like all those little clicks, those disappear using this declick from our Isotope RX. I think I'm using 8 or 7.
Come to me.
Don saying, honestly, I didn't even have time to check nomination lists before, and I just saw a few pop up on Facebook. There might be more people who won. Find out in time. Haven't you watched the Junos yet? I was curious to see how it would work outdoors this year, because I know that was kind of the safer bet with everything all considered with health and stuff like that. But I'm glad they could make it work, because I know it was a bit funky, especially in 2022 and last year as well. But no, it's a fun time. I've been twice. I've had 2 of the kids records. I think 3 or 4 of the kids records nominated. We won one of them, and then Evans Blue. They were nominated for group of the year, 2005. That was exciting. That was exciting. Like things are actually moving forward, sort of thing when you're working in music and you make a record. And that was one of the first records I made. Again, Takes a Village. Trevor Kustiak produced it. Mark McAway mixed it. But yeah, it's like seeing that come together, like how quickly things came together that year for the guys and everyone involved, is pretty wild. Don says, if you want a Juno, not for engineer, but for working on one of the kids' records. Charlie Hope is the name of the artist, and I think it was Song Stories and Friends. It's a very wholesome kids album. Right now, my Juno serves as a hat holder for Tone House. Shout out to Brian Hawley. But yeah, sitting up on the shelf up there of things that I have. They're very, Junos are very heavy. Very heavy things. Don says, well, thank you very much. It's funny, like my actual, not to go into story time, but the first time we went was 2010. Charlie Hope got nominated for the first kids record that we did. And I produced it, mixed it, engineered it, and did bulk of the instrumentation on it as well. So it was pretty crazy how all that stuff came together. But I remember being there, and they were doing the Children's Artist of the Year, Children's Album of the Year, and like we didn't win. And my first thought that went through my mind, and this is for a kid's record, first thought that went through my mind, and I'll censor this, was we're effing winning it next time. Like that was like the jolt of energy that went through my body after they announced the Juno for a children's album, was we're effing winning this next time. And we got back to Toronto, made another record, and then 2012 we were in Ottawa. And we ended up winning. And I was just listening for the hard C consonant of Charlie Hope. And when I heard it, I was just like, I think I was the first person to make noise after I heard it, because I knew right away. I have the habit too, like when a team's about to score or something, I'll like know it a little bit before other people. It's not being psychic or clairvoyant or anything like that. It's just listening and being able to pick up on that first little thing. But yeah, that was interesting. It was interesting. Just because like we'd worked so hard to get to that point, and like it's like you win, and when you work in the arts, you're constantly moving your own goalpost. So it's like from 2 years prior where we're like, let's try and win this, and then you get it, but you've already moved your goalpost again. So it's like you're happy and excited about it, but like you're already mentally somewhere else because everything's already kind of set. Like there's nothing else you can do after you submit to the to Junos and stuff like that. It's like that's like the record's already made, it's already out, you've already submitted it, you've tried your best, and like you're already moving on to other things. So I just kind of remember, I'm just like, now I know what it's like. Like you're constantly moving your own goalpost, but I also totally understand some people who've had lots of success and it doesn't mean that much to them because they're already looking at other things. I think I've told the story on here before, but just, a guitar player friend I know has his diamond record on the floor of the studio. And I'm just like, what are you doing? Like that's 1 million sold in Canada. And it's like, it doesn't mean that, like, they're still proud of it, but it's like, it doesn't mean the same thing to them because they're mentally past it, sort of thing. They eventually put it up on the wall, sort of thing. But it's like, it's just different when you're in it. And there's another, not to go story time about this, but there's another thing with Stuart Copeland, the drummer for Police. He was doing an interview, and person said, like, what does it feel like to like walk away from a band like the Police? And his response was more or less like, no, it was great when it was great, but it's like, I want to do other stuff. Like, and that's really hard for some people to figure that out. Like, life gets short really fast. So you need to figure out what gets you to bed in the morning. And, if your heart's not in it, especially when it comes to being creative, when your heart's not in it, I think people are going to know. And that's not to say that you can't come back to it. Because that's another thing too. It's like, it can come in waves. It can come in cycles when people feel about stuff. Because obviously Stuart Copeland's still playing drums, still the best, in my opinion, the best hi-hat player in rock music, or just music in general. Definitely probably top 5, top 10 hi-hat players. But Stuart Copeland, if you've ever seen this, a fantastic hi-hat work on everything that I've heard him play on. And to me, like, that's a big part of what made the Police kind of have their feel, was the amount of hi-hat work that was there. Anyways, end rant on that. But yeah, no, it's fun to get those awards and accolades and accomplishments and stuff like that. But so often you get it, but you're already mentally past it, sort of thing. It's just, you're picking things up on your way by. They're byproducts of the hard work. And again, for anybody, it takes a village, it takes a team. No one's an island in these business. Even if you're on Island Records, Island FJ, I don't know if that's still a thing. Even if you think you're an island, you're never an island. You can be a keystone to what's going on with things, but they're never islands. It's always a bunch of people around it making things come together. And there's no small players in them in those systems as well. Everyone's helping move the wheel, so to speak. All right, end rant on that. I am going to do some mixing stuff today. So I added that throw. I just wanted to check one thing here. So we added our tambourine hit down here. But there's one more thing I kind of wanted to try. And then we'll get into chopping this song up. And I have a hotkey for saving here. I'm going to duplicate this. And should just bring the track down. Yep, it didn't bring the samples. I've unplugged my keyboard again. And it's way further away now. So I have to choose between my laptop here or my synth, but I'm not doing too much that I need the synth for right now. Did that just make a track? I think it did. I'm just going to double click that. I don't want to give it away, but I'm curious. They have claps in here. I didn't even know they had claps in here. So I'm going to just grab this sample. We'll see what's up in a second. I'm just going to solo this. So it should be just the sound of the tambourine here. I love older Police stuff. Yeah, it's fantastic. So there's that there, but we have some claps. I wonder if it's going to work. It's showing up red. I don't know what that means. Again, I fully admit. There we go. It's okay. I like that's for the snaps. It's gonna bring off, or sorry, that's not even close to being good English. I'm going to bypass. I'm gonna bypass the reverb that's there. It's okay for clap sound. Don says coolest more cowbell. No, it's Shimmer Shake Strike. It gets really convenient for quickly doing stuff. Although it probably doesn't look like I'm quickly doing anything in here. But it's really awesome for just adding tambourines and shakers in if your music is in time. If it's not, you got to do it the old-fashioned way. You got to get a microphone out. You got to get your tambourines, your 2 tambourines, and your 2 shakers out. The hand gesture's not going to work for that. And then need to play both of those in. And then don't entirely like that clap sample, but it'll do what it needs to do. And then play all 4 of those in and then time them. And yeah, it doesn't take that long, but it's way quicker when you can just bring 4 tracks of this in and already have your MIDI rip through the whole track and then just consolidate it or commit it and then edit around it, and you're done in like 10 minutes. And you're watching the game still. So. Now, I just want to put a couple of these in here. Because one of the things when you have something awesome is making sure people miss it. Pro Tools, come on. Don says, what percentage of work do you get that's not in time? I would say most is in time these days because a lot of it's done, like, it's done to the grid. So, like, that makes it easier. I will say it's more of an age group thing. And as much as it's painful sometimes, it's like kind of the 50+ range. They're a little bit more lenient and wiggly on the timing of things. I've said before, either you're playing to a click or you're not. You're not like kind of starting on it. Like, well, I like that one too. Well, we started on it and then we just kind of felt it. It's like, well, the tempo at the end, unless you're AC/DC, that's probably the tempo you should have started with. That's how you want to play it. But if you can't play a click, it is what it is. But a lot of stuff you're gridding it these days. Where's claps? Okay, let's F with this a little bit here. I don't think I can adjust the pitch in here. Put that in the center. Okay, I don't think I can mess with the pitch. Ooh, I can. So it's want a heavier sounding. Okay, and this other one of those times too where I would break my rule and say, like, don't put your delays and don't put your delays and reverbs, your parallel effects on the track, but I just want to try something here. So 6 seconds. Okay. Also, what we can do too, we have our time here until we get to the next one. So we have 8 bars here. One of the things we can do is kind of a cheat sometimes. We can go, instead of being bars and beats, we can go minutes and seconds. So it's 16 seconds in length. So if you want to time it, so it's half the distance to get there, we could put an 8-second reverb on there, which sounds bonkers because it is. It's craziness. I wouldn't recommend doing this, but we're going to go there today. It's Thursday. Weather's kind of crud here in Toronto. And we'll just kind of figure out the pitch on this. Nope. There we go, I can buy that. So just kind of a big old launch. And it's subtle. I know it's not probably something you think would be subtle at 8-second reverb tail, but just kind of adds a thing to it. Let's go for it though. See if I can erase it here. 16 seconds. That's giant. I'm into that. Let's try 12 seconds. There's a little dragon song. I can never remember what it's called, but they have this epic delay reverb launch. I can buy that. 12 seconds is good. Just leave that joke alone. Glad Patterson's not here. Okay, I like the a little bit more. We're getting there. Because I have an idea with this too. There we go. I'm feeling that. Just huge launch. Okay, so we added those 2 claps there with the giant reverb tails on them. It's going to go to the tag section. So we have vocals on all that. So what I was thinking with that big reverb, we can put one maybe here. Nope, not there. So where I put this in the outro. You can probably just copy this actually. So it's subtle to have that on there. Don's moved over to YouTube. Welcome to YouTube. Remember to like and subscribe. Help support the channel. Okay, we're almost an hour in. Fussed around with this a little bit. So again, that big old clap with the reverb launch on it. There's delay throws and reverb launches for me. So I just added that on there. I'm going to go ahead and save this. So I'm feeling pretty good about this, but I'm going to save it one more time. So this, let's pretend we're sending this off to the band. We're like, yeah, this sounds great. We've listened in the morning. But let's make another one here called edit. So what I'm going to do, our MIDI tracks here, I'm going to commit all of these. I wanted to convert these to audio. Reason being, if we're making any massive edits, I don't want to be messing with the MIDI that's underneath there. I'd rather just make edits to actual music that's there. And yes, it's going to make a difference with... actually, one second. I'm going to cancel that. I'm going to deactivate our reverb that's on there. And it's Shift Option C. So I can add that reverb onto the audio track after. So I think that's the only MIDI we have on here. Don says that clap sounds great. I'm a sucker for that kind of production stuff. I can't remember what song was it where like we were really, was it the what was it called? What is in my pockets? Receipts. What was the song? Saturn Syndicate, I think. What was the song called though? Don, you know what song I'm talking about. That had the claps in it, and it's like we spent a lot of time with the claps on that one. There's a lot of clapping going on with that one. So I'm just committing these MIDI tracks here so I can make some edits and not worry about messing things up too much, because things can go a little bit sideways when you're making like giant full song height edits. Because every section here is about, I do believe it's about 16 bars, I think. Yeah, so some of these can be 8 bars. Okay, so we've committed all of our MIDI here, so we can go ahead and actually we'll take our reverb here, and we'll drag that. Just hold Option and drag it down. And Control and Command to make it active again. So we're going to make all these inactive. One of the things we can do is pull these all up so they're all underneath where they need to be for all the tracks that they were bounced from, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'm going to do that. Shakers. We can just leave those names, they're fine. And we're going to go here. And just, again, because how I like to live my life. So you can see now this is just the audio from the shakers and the tambourines and our tambourine hits here and our clap samples here. So if I hit play, we should still be good to go. That's from the very beginning. So we're still good. We haven't done anything. We've just committed those tracks there. Okay, we could probably get right into the nitty-gritty here. So what I'm going to do is, we've already saved this song. We've already saved it as our edit here. So anything we do from here, this wasn't Happy Pills. There wasn't claps and Happy Pills. Definitely, I'm not thinking there was claps. No, it was the Saturn Syndicate song, I think. Never Leave the Night Alone, I think, maybe. So we've saved this as a new edit. So if we need to go back in time, we give this to the band. And again, I would always give them the mix first and then give them the edit after, unless you're like super, super, mega, ultra confident in it. But just the idea, if you think something's going to sell the song better, then just go for it. The worst that they can happen is they say no. Brackets, the real worst is you get fired. But you know what? Big risk, big reward. Okay, so we can probably chop this intro, maybe even this intro. So I'm going to go and hit all groups. So this is going to grab every single track that's here. I'm going to hide. Actually, no, I'm not going to hide that. I was going to hide the demo up here. We'll listen to that after, actually. I always forget later on. I always forget to listen against what we were doing. But let's do the edit first. Let's just go for it. This is, how to get fired 101. Okay, so we're looking at this here. So intro to here. I'm looking at the length. And we're just going to pull this over so that its length is 8 bars. because we can always pull these tails over and kind of smooth things out if we need to. Another thing you can do if you're really confident about it is usually you can just go back. You can go back 2 bars or something to where maybe the snare drum is. Maybe let's do that. Let's pull that back just a little bit. See if we can just like. So maybe I'll get rid of that 8 bars that's in there, and we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll just sew that up after. Because all this stuff, we would need to just smooth it out if anything's getting chopped, but it's 8-bar loop, so we should be good. All right, so let's go ahead. Before we hit delete or anything, don't freak out. I would also recommend selecting these up here. If you don't, it won't pull your markers back with it. So we're in grid mode. If I hit delete, it's just gonna leave a gap there. That's not what we want to do. So what we want to do, make sure the top here is selected. Let's go to shuffle. When you hit delete, it's gonna pull everything together. So 3, 2, 1. So that's how we can quickly move some time on this song a little bit. So let's just have a listen. We'll see what happens. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not good. Pretty good, good enough for what we need to do. So we're already into that first verse, and that clap with the reverb launch on it got us in there real quick. So I get excited about these things when they work. It's very high risk doing these live, because sometimes when it doesn't work, I'm going to save. Apple S. So first chorus, I think we can cut this in half. So hear me calling in your sleep. So we'll listen to that. I wish that calling in your sleep had the same thing over here where it went down. Okay, I might be able to get crafty on this one. Okay, this is high risk. If you're gonna get fired, just go for it. So what I'm gonna do here is Don's saying, is she doing background vocals as well? Yes, I would say so. We're gonna go 8 bars here. This is gonna sound messy for a second, but we need to just embrace the mess for a second. So I'm chopping this out. So there's the rhyming scheme of this is AABB. So the idea, I think it's AABB. Anyways, what's going on is I'm going to grab the first 2 phrases and the last 2 phrases and try to jam those together and see what happens so that we can get into our tag section quicker. So I'm just going to grab those, put it into shuffle mode. And again, make sure the top part's selected so that we can bring our markers closer together. Now, this is one of those things when the band's in the room, they're going to freak out. They're going to freak right out when they hear this because it's not how it originally went. And this might be funky over here too, but we'll just kind of listen. I can buy it. Let's sew that up. They're not here to say anything. They're not here to say boo right now. So we're just looking at this, where these edits are. I'm going to turn off our groups. So we're just going to pull. I turned off my groups. I did. We're just going to sew these up. So we'll just pull these across. And again, we can see underneath the waveforms. Don says, Mike, no one will fire you. Well, that's the thing when you're working here for free. What's going on with this synth here? So we know that our downbeat is here. This bar 39 beat 2. So anything that's looking a little bit funny, we just need to make sure it's kind of lined up there. I refer to this too sometimes as hiding the body, where something is a little bit funky waveform wise, but really we just need to sew it up, and we'll just not talk about it after that. So that all looks good. I can go back into all here. Sorry, keep that selected. Now I put our groups back on. I'll use the selector tool, and we can just highlight a little section here. You want to hide your major edits in behind transients. I'm a big fan of that. And again, with these dancey songs, it's really easy to do that. See that one we had to pull over a little bit, so I'll hit F, and that's going to add some fades here. There was some spots down here we might not want to fade those ones in. So these kick drums will pull these ones back a little bit. I don't want fades on my kick drum samples, my snare sample. And that, this, that, these, those. Everything looks pretty good. So we just sewed that up. It should sound okay. If it doesn't, again, we're just trying to cut some time here. We're doing the real-time radio edit. I don't mind the first verse being longer. We might change our mind, but it's easier to do that. So let's listen to the second chorus again. Sorry, first chorus. I don't even know what's going on. Okay, so this is another one where we could probably cut this. Okay, so the way this back half happens, again, 16 bars. I think what we can do is just chop. We can probably chop, where is it? So it would be these 8 bars. Just doing some mental math right now. I want to... Pro Tools, come on. Come on, Pro Tools. So I want to go up to here. I think that's for another 8 bars. I'm going to select all that again, shuffle, and we'll just delete that to pull that all together. Have a listen. Because there's that little drum dropout thing that's over there, so I want to make sure that that was preserved. That sounded pretty good. I can buy that. We're just cutting some time here. Same thing. We can probably sew a lot of this up as is. So we'll do the same thing here. Are there quicker ways to do this? Probably. Is this a way to do it? It is. So that's all sewed up. The main thing about moving around the... moving this stuff around, like moving these tails around, is if you're doing anything weird to the vocals, But if you put the edit in a clever spot, sometimes you don't need to mess around with the vocals too much. So same thing down here. I just want to make sure we're not messing with our drum samples, because if they're fading in a little bit, they're going to get soft. We don't want that. People don't want that. So let's do that and let's pull these over. I'm just using the trimmer tool to just nudge these fades over. Okay, so we've cut 24 bars out of this song so far. So just for S and G's, so that's 24 bars, length 24 bars. We're going to go to minutes and seconds. We've cut 50 seconds off the song already. And I don't think we've lost any song. Let's have a listen from the top. Don's sounding awesome. Time to run. Have a great day. Have a great day, Don. Reminder, I'm away for a couple weeks. I'll be back soon, though. I've not abandoned anybody. Into the first verse already. I don't mind the 16 bars for the first verse to set it up, because we might be able to chop the second verse in half. Oh, we turned our vocals effects off. Like a bunch of silly billies over here. There we go. So we cut the first chorus in half. And we cut this tag in half. Now we'll listen to see if we can cut this second verse in half. I already know, no, I don't want to cut this in half. Let's just have a great vacay. Great break from streaming for a couple weeks. Talk soon, though. Is our throw still there? Second verse, sorry, second chorus. Don's hanging out for the listen through. Don't blame you. I don't mind the second chorus being longer. Because also the way this is right now, this is now at 3 minutes. And dare I say, we don't even need the breakdown and we don't need the rest of the song. You could run with this. Daniel says, yep, throw is good. Daniel's still there. You hear the details. Like, the song could be over. 3 minutes of dancing, people are good. There's more electro stuff over here too. Because this part's like a minute. This is the extended club mix. I know. There's one more thing I wanted to do. Okay, there's one more thing I wanted to do here too. Kind of a cheap and easy meal for the ears here. We did put on our on bus 9 we have our short delay, and I think it's 1/8 notes. Let's go over here, and it's 16th notes. So our delay, we put that on our hi-hat. You'd be thinking that's why would you do that? What is going on? What's going on in the world? Don says it's part of where the cool dances of the club show them. Exactly. That's where it's not even a dance off. It's just a dance exhibition, but it turns into a dance off. So our hi-hats here, still to be determined if they're real or not. But if you put that 16th note delay on it, you can just get a little more energy. So what I wanted to do is just add that for this third chorus here. But then when we hit the outro, we turn it back off. So we are on here for our mute. So we're going to mute, just holding a command and clicking on our bus here. And you see that line drop back down. We have it selected here. I can use the trimmer tool, not muted. So when we get there, we can run through this. So I'll just bring it back a few bars. Musically, 4 bars. 4 bars-ish. So when we hit that part, that hi-hat's energy is going to come up, and if it wasn't a dance party already, it definitely is a dance party. And then when we get out of this section, we should hear the intensity drop back down again. Don's gone. See you later, Don. Have a good rest of your evening, your day. It's 1 p.m. Wow. You got here. So it's subtle. And we brought that snare, so that clap reverb launch back in to kind of tie it back together. There's some lasers in there still. That's the motion for lasers. And we did our fade out. And then just because I'm in charge, we also did a fade back in. But the thing I wanted to show here is like our mix bus, compressor, and all our stuff, it's still happening. So we bust that to our master fader here. So when we did our fade out, we're not affecting anything that's happening here. Very important to do that. If you don't do that and you start bringing your fader down on your master fader, all your mix bus stuff, especially your mix bus compression, it's not going to hit threshold. It's not going to keep doing what it's doing, gluing your mix together. So, all right, moment of truth. Moment of truth. I think we're in pretty good shape here. Going to reactivate the mix preview here, and I'm going to play one of my favorite games where I figure out where this is on my my monitor section here, because it just seems like it's never in the same spot. Even though I know it's not on these ones, I'm just going to go through in order. I think overall it sounded pretty good. I'm enjoying this tune quite a bit. I like the dancier stuff. It's fun. There we go. So I'm going to go to the headphones for a second and have a listen and see what's going on with their mix and see what's going on with our mix. I'm going to make it a collective our mix, not my mix, because we're going to listen against it. So be right back. Okay. Other songs still going. So just A being between the two. The main thing for me was just bringing the pads, the keyboards, the synths up. And there is just a lot more going on their mix in the bridge area. But I like the detail on ours. I like the arrangement changes we made. Be very inclusive here. I liked the claps we added. I liked that delay throw that's in there. All of those things I think helped add a little bit of movement to the song and interest. And sometimes like you don't need to throw delay throws and reverb launches and all that kind of stuff all over the place willy-nilly. Pick your spots with them and it goes a long way. Even if one of those instances or events only happens once in the mix, that turns that section into its own part. That may sound very obvious, but if, again, same but different, if your first verse and your second verse are the same, one small tweak can make a huge difference with it. So that delay throw in the second verse, to me, makes all the difference in the world, breaking those two sections up. Cutting the 8 bars from the first chorus, letting that second chorus be double, that makes a huge difference to me too. The first tag and the second tag, cutting that in half, again, makes a big difference, not just time-wise, but just attention-wise, what the listener's expecting. If everything's just the same all the time, that works in some genres, but I feel like when we have vocals involved, let's maybe mess with it. And again, we have the bulk of this song, because to me, this song could be verse, chorus, tag, verse, chorus, tag. Those 3 sections can happen twice. That gets us to 3 minutes. I think we're pretty good that way. I love songs that very slickly, slyly, intelligently, subtly are able to do that. The Strokes, hard to explain. That's one of the earliest songs I can think of when I was growing up that had that arrangement. Just aged myself, but had that arrangement. And I remember a buddy I was in a band with at the time, we looked at each other because we loved that Strokes record. And we looked at each other, we're just like, there's no bridge. And we were doing a lot of punk band stuff at the time too. And we're just like, maybe we don't need bridges. Maybe we can shave another 20 seconds off of the song if we don't need to go to a bridge or something. But that song is like intro, verse, chorus, re-intro, verse, chorus. So don't shy away from that. Again, a little breakdown section, the extended club mix, and the outro there. So what we did on that third chorus, we brought in the hi-hats on that one where we just unmuted our 16th note delay on our hi-hats to bring the energy level up a bit, just to kind of get it pumping a little bit. So also we brought our tambourines into that one as well, because before we had our tambourines coming in on our tag section. So little differences, same but different. It can go a long way with your productions, but also your mixes. We didn't have these percussion sections. We didn't have the claps. We didn't have the delay throws. All that stuff was added after in the mix stage. And if you're going to chop the song up, make sure the song feels good to you. First, save as a new session and make your changes there, and just kind of slide that across the virtual table and say, what do you think about this? If you need to cut time, just be the messenger on it. But again, sell the song. Producers, mixers, sell the song. That's your job. I'm feeling pretty good about this. We could probably chat more about Canadian music industry and Junos and stuff, but I think I'll save that for another day. Yeah, no, I'm really happy with this. I think this, again, fantastic recording engineers and producers on this. They did a fantastic job. Also, again, if you're an engineer and you're not sure how people are getting some of these sounds, Daniel, if you're still there, I'm just going to all our guitars. Yeah, like this guitar section in here. Those are all just single notes. But they're able to build these chords, and it sounds really full and really lush. And also the idea where we can pan those notes and turn it into something. Instead of just playing raked chords or strummed chords or something like that. Daniel's still here. Yeah, just little things like that where we don't think about it all the time. But if you know how to get some of these sounds, and you kind of catalog them in your brain for your skill set, for things that you can get. If you're like, oh, I want to hear this in the song. Also the acoustic stuff too. There's all this. That's on 12 string, but it just goes through the whole song. That's kind of a room mic one. bit low, sorry. But it just goes through the whole track, and it's like... subtle, but it just fills it out. I would normally in the choruses just have a note that just kind of passes through all the different stuff in the keys. Usually one note or two notes depending on the melody that's there, but it's like all that stuff adds so much. But if you're not sure how to get that, being able to download some of these multi-tracks and be able to look through them and go, how did they get these sounds from folk all the way to technical metal? It's like looking at other people's productions and their recordings. You can learn so much that way. All right, I'm gonna start winding down on this. Shift Command U, Shift Command B. Remove any clips that are not being used. We're good with that. And remember, if it's not saved in two places, it doesn't exist. So save copy in audio files. Our temp back up here, and then I just put capital BU underscore. And we can start saving that in the background so that we have it. Hopefully, everyone enjoyed this track as much as I did. So it's a fun one to mess around with. Just let that save in the background. I don't know why your camera keeps moving. Don't get it. Anyways, hopefully you enjoyed this. Again, song's called Siren. The group is called Georgia Wonder. I think the song came out in 2010 or 2012 or 2014, so it was a while ago. But again, fantastic tune, fun to work on. Again, where do I get these tracks from? There's a website called Cambridge Music Technology. Details are down below if you're watching on YouTube. Check that out. If you're a new mixer, it is a gold mine of information and resources. If you're an experienced mixer too and you want to branch out in other genres, that's the place. Highly recommend. You can start adding some of those songs to your reel. If people want to know what you can do with pop and you work on metal, if you work on metal and people want to see what you can work on with pop, there you go. You can start adding that stuff to reel. All right, I think that's time for today. Thanks for joining this morning. Again, I'm going to be away for a couple weeks. Heavy streaming schedule over here. I'm going to take a couple weeks off to live some life a little bit, but I will be back ideally the first week of June or second week of June. So I've not abandoned anybody. I'm still here. And also, I have like a whole bunch of cleaning up to do on the back end as well. So I'll still be busy, just not doing live stream for a couple weeks. But I'll be back with a new song. I haven't decided yet. I have my short list. If you have songs you want me to look at from Cambridge Music Technology, leave that in the comments below. I really appreciate that. It's always interesting to see what other people would like to see, what I do with it. So, once again, my name is Mike Langford. I'm a producer, engineer, mixer based in Toronto, Canada. This has been Let's Mix Live, where I live stream some mix sessions start to finish, showing you some production techniques to hopefully help you make your music production sound better. Again, lots of different ways to get there. I'm here not showing you what you should do, but what you could do. So thanks again for joining me. Have a good rest of your day and a safe weekend, everybody. See you in a couple weeks. Talk to you later.